And welcome, folks, to another edition of Steady Dropping Dimes. This is me and my crew, my boys, two former Michigan stars, two guys that were field generals, floor generals, however you want to put it, but at the same time, just real dudes. So you know how you got those shows where you get the fake, contrived opinions. It's off the show. Everything you get here is 100% real, including those Emmys right over there over DG's shoulder. Isn't that right, DG?
Yeah, we Sam and the Samettes.
No, that ain't how
Sam and the Samettes.
That ain't how it is. I'm like the moderator. I'm like the moderator for the
Oh,
guys.
you Skip Bayless.
Well, nah, come on, man. Why gotta be Skip? Why we gotta be Skip? Why we gotta throw that? I'm like,
I knew you weren't gonna like it.
But the premise is good. The premise is good. You bring a couple of guys who've been in the arena, who gonna give you their real authentic opinions, and then we go back and forth on this show called Steady Dropping Dimes, brought to you by our friends. See it up in the corner, Destination Ann Arbor, your tour guides to all things in Washtenaw County. The people you need to know, the places you need to see, the places you want to eat, the places you want to go for entertainment. Destination Ann Arbor is that place that can take you to, show you the way where you need to be when it comes to Ann Arbor. Gonna remind you, man, we got some great suggestions coming through on your favorite drinking spots in Ann Arbor. You know, one place I haven't been, fellas? Someone came in the stream last week and said, you need to try Hopcat right down on campus. I haven't been there. Great craft brewery. I heard a lot about it. Haven't been there. We'll talk more about it a little bit later on.
I frequent Hopcat on DoorDash. On DoorDash. Yeah.
So we'll have you talk about Hopcat a little bit when it comes time to get into that part of the show, the I Love Ann Arbor part of the show. In the meantime, in between time, let me properly introduce my esteemed colleagues, right? Starting with DG, that young go-getter over there, that 3-time Emmy Award winner over there who was a quarterback and a receiver, by the way, for the Maize and Blue, right? And now doing his thing, taking Reggie Bush's spot. Oh, Fox, man. I'm so proud. I'm so proud, DG, that you done boxed Reggie Bush out. You know, I had PTSD with Reggie Bush running all over Michigan back in, what was that, 04? Yeah, you took care of that. I appreciate you, DG. You pushed him out, man.
Man, leave me alone. Stop starting stuff. All you want to do is start stuff, Sam. What is wrong with you?
The first big-time basketball recruit I covered didn't big-time you, was a genuine dude, a real dude, and even when he came to Michigan and was that guy, never changed. That's the one thing. That's another thing I can say about these two dudes. Never, ever changed, no matter how big their star got. McDonald's All-American, Michigan point guard Daniel Horton. Daniel, how you doing?
Doing good. Another episode, another Wednesday, man. It's good.
Yeah, man, it's good. It's so good that, you know, Daniel, during the week, like, he'll see something, he'd be like, man, we got to talk about
it. Daniel be on it. Daniel be on it like, oh, no, I know y'all seen this.
Right.
Man.
Right. So I hadn't seen this one. I was doing the show up in Traverse City. I had my guys over in Minnesota covering the Michigan-Minnesota game. So I didn't see it unfold live. Daniel did the Miami-Georgia Tech game. And we had this whole segment on coaching malpractice, right?
Yeah. We might need to make that a weekly thing.
Yes.
We do, because, I mean, I had people kind of texting me, but Daniel called. He was like, you got to call me right now on this day.
Oh, y'all saw I said, wait, dang, what happened? Daniel in trouble? We need to go ahead and fly to Texas. What's up? What is happening? He said, you need to call me. No.
Yeah.
I said, oh, man, what's going on?
All right, so lay it out. Lay it out for the people who don't know what we're talking about, Daniel, how it played out.
Man, so 34 seconds, 35 seconds, somewhere in that area, Miami has the ball. Only thing they have to do is take a knee, and the game is over. And I don't know what. You know, coaches, I think sometimes coaches get in their own ego, and we're going to send a message. We're just going to be physical and pound it into the whistle, right? And so they decide to run the ball again, and the running back fumbles. Georgia Tech recovers. I think maybe 2 plays later, they throw it's not even a Hail Mary. It looked like it's just a deep post over the middle, and they blow a coverage. And the kid scores, and they score with 1 second left, and Georgia Tech wins the game. Miami, who's built all this momentum on the recruiting trail, on the field, and they, you know, the U is back, right? And you flush it all down the toilet, coaching malpractice. It was
erroneous on all accounts.
And the coach, that was shocking. I would be in the locker room. They would have to restrain me. They would have to restrain me.
So I wanted to immediately kind of tap into how you guys would react as players in it, because you put a certain amount of trust and deference in the coach. Like, you know what you're doing. Like, you recruited me here. You're in this position because at least the basic stuff you just know, right? You know when to go for it, when not to, right? You know what buttons to push. You know when to take a knee. And this dude literally cost his team a game, DG. And all you got to do is take a knee. Jesse Palmer, you're in the profession, DG. Let me lay out Jesse Palmer, who was the color guy on the broadcast, and he's like, "What are they doing? What are they doing?" And it's like y'all almost make a point to not be too hard on officials or too hard on coaches, right? But in this instance, he was like, "What are they doing?"
He is tripping. I mean, it's so me. You say, well, how would I be as a player? I'm fire breathing dragon. A lot of bad words, and it really is this, right? So coaches get a lot of power, right? As they should. They're the coach, and so as a player, if you make a mistake, or you don't know your plays, or you just make a questionable decision, no matter the position, quarterback, whatever, you won't play, right? You have to sit the bench. Your punishment is you don't get to contribute anymore because we can't trust you, right? And trust is a huge thing. Huge thing the coaches talk. I need to be able to trust you and put you in a position to make sure you get stuff done. Are you going to be the best player in the world? No, but I need to be able to trust you. Well, what's the repercussion for a coach who has proven he cannot be trusted with the football team? And if this was the first time he did it, he trusted. But this isn't the first time. He's a repeat offender. He did it at Oregon, lost the game, and I think after that he said it'll never happen again. Well, wrong. It will happen again, and it just happened. And so my thought is, you lose the team because you're gonna have some leaders that are all good because they're playing, they're happy, whatever. But you're gonna have guys who are good players, maybe not getting a chance to play. Daniel, you've been there where you see guys that's in a doghouse. He probably should be playing, but he make a mistake here or there. He really can't be trusted. Maybe he late for class, whatever the case may be. He's in the doghouse, and those guys have real influence. No matter if they playing or not, everybody knows that's a dog, and he got some influence. And he gonna sprinkle his little venom on. Look at this. He talking about me. Look at him. He talking about me. Look at him. And then it's gonna fester. It's gonna be all around, and they're about to start hitting the meat of their schedule, right? And so I think that it's a fireable offense. I mean, you cannot allow things like this to happen. And it takes me back to loving basketball when, he went in there and he said, son, sometimes, things happen. And he replied with them big old bug eyes, and some things should never happen. Yeah. This is one of them instances. Some things should never happen. Never. Yes.
Yeah, your coach not knowing when to take it, just not having a clue. This is worse than Marcus Freeman a couple weeks ago.
10 times worse than Marcus Freeman.
Because this one you actually have full control over. And so one of my guys was like, well, you're supposed to have and Vance said, was it Vance? Was talking about, you got to have your defensive coordinator is supposed to tell you, hey, here's what Vance said. He said he didn't have anybody on his staff that said, coach, you're going to have to fire me. We taking a knee. Well, you're going to have to fire me if we don't take a knee right now, because that's what we're about to do. Well, I mean, why you got to tell the dude how to use the bathroom? Like that, like the basic stuff. You shouldn't have to tell the dude, to put the toilet seat up. Like these are like common sense things that coaches should know, and that this coach didn't know. And I think exposed a couple of things. Number one, he's a recruiter. That's Mario Cristobal's thing. Yeah. He is a recruiter. That's his claim to fame. Right, it's not like he went to Oregon and all of a sudden this coaching genius said, man, they got a lot of players out there, right? They got
Nike, a lot of Nike.
Right, they got mean NIL out there. Yep. And the same thing in Miami. So they get rid of Gaddis, right? And, square peg, round hole and all of that. But they thought all the problems went away when they did that, when the real problem is leadership. Yeah. Leadership. This is who you have leading you. a guy who couldn't even make a move that a PlayStation dude would make, a Madden dude would make, to run the clock out.
And I'm the dude who throw the ball and go for it on fourth on the video game a lot. And even me, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna take a knee on Madden. I'm sorry.
Hey, everybody knows on Madden that's a guaranteed fumble if you don't take a knee. That's on Madden. So in real life, they take a knee and in the game. But it's one of those things where, like I said, I coached college basketball for 2 years, right? And one thing we fought as coaches is not letting our ego get in the way of progress, right? So we're not going to sit here and we want to play a certain way, but if our kids aren't capable, or if it doesn't make sense, or it's not the right time and place, we're not going to let our ego say, hey, we're going to do this anyway because this is what we do. So Cristobal said, we haven't taken a knee all season, and blaming the kids, say we don't teach fumbling. Like, hey man,
wait, he said that?
Yeah, his post game comments.
He did not say that.
Yeah, his post game.
He didn't say that. I'm not believing that. I'm not believing that. Daniel, I like you, and I don't care. I'm not believing he said that garbage. No, he did not blame the kids. No, I'm skip on the ball, but I'm not. Nope.
Hey, I'm gonna Google it and send it to you. But no, but it's the only thing, you can't let your ego get in the way as a coach, man. You have to kind of step aside. What's best for the team in this moment? Take a knee. This game is over. Take a knee.
Response. We don't teach fumbling. You are literally on national stage blaming a kid for being in a position that he never even should have got an opportunity to be in. There's no way he did that. And if he did, how does he have a job right now? And the soliloquy I gave about how you're going to lose locker room with the venom sprinkling all around, guess what? The person that fumbled that ball is going to be the leader of that crew. And he is done. The team is finished. I would say, I don't know what the rest of the schedule looks like. Any team that they have that's even remotely competent, they probably will not beat them.
Yeah, so I'm going to pull up. See, I hadn't heard that part either, Daniel.
Unbelievable.
He did what I heard him say was we should have taken a knee, which we know. But I'll bring up his post game here real quick. We'll catch just a little.
Yeah, I want to see his face while he's saying it too. I want to see how arrogant is his chest all puffed out. I need to see this.
We'll get a little bit of it.
Daniel, I can't trust you, Daniel. I can't trust you.
This is
Mario. His post game comments. He basically threw the kid under the bus for fumbling.
Okay, all right. Hold on a second.
Let me be clear. He should have held on to the ball, but he should have never got the chance.
He should have, but he didn't. He should have never been in that position.
100%.
All right, so
100%.
Here is Mario Cristobal. Let's go ahead.
Oh, here we go.
And bring him on the screen. So
tall.
Yeah, he's also a guy who had like 40 recruits on campus that day. And it just did not go according to plan. So here is Mario Cristobal.
Thank you for your patience. Obviously disappointing.
Don't lag on us now.
A lot of different aspects.
Yeah, it looked like it's gonna lag on us, fellas.
Yeah, he basically said we haven't taken the knee all year. He's just basically making excuses, and it's like, bro, you gotta take ownership for that. That's not anyone's fault but yours.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
Let the thing load up. We got to come back to that. Let it load up.
We're not gonna do that.
Let it load up, and but we're gonna have to roll with Daniel, even though it sounds ridiculous. I think Daniel making it up. I'm saying it right now. I think Daniel's making it up, and you making that man look bad.
No, but he has a problem on his hands because what it brings up is you got a lot of kids going to play for these coaches who don't necessarily have the best track record. But I'm going to use just what Mark Stoops accused Kirby Smart of was actually okay. Like if Georgia going to pay you to come, they're winning championships. But if Miami going to pay you to come, I mean, what is Miami? What are they really doing, right?
Nice
and their NIL is mean down there. But I don't know if you guys caught Mark Stoops. They got rolled by Georgia last week. And after the game, he said, listen.
You bought some more players, as he said.
Yeah, he said they bought 85 players, man. They bought 85 players. we need to buy some players too. Give us some money.
I don't love the wording of buying players. It just, it's because, the guys that are buying the players are white men. And most of the players are black men. I rather not say the whole buy the players thing, but I get where he's coming from.
Yeah, he's talking from an NIL perspective. He's saying, hey, they're going out and they're the highest bidder, and that's how they're getting guys. So we need to do the same thing. Now, first of all, Kentucky, this Kentucky we talking about. Does anyone here think that Kentucky hasn't bought, had some exceptional NIL here or there for some players? All right.
Yeah, but for basketball, Kentucky, until y'all prove that y'all earn this, y'all not getting none of this basketball money.
I was about to say I'm a basketball guy, so that's like the pot calling the kettle black. Kentucky.
Yeah.
The generations now. That's
but Stoops need his gripe has to be with the basketball team, because they're gonna get it all. They're gonna guess what? He will not be begging. Whoever basketball coach is in Kentucky will not be begging for money.
Listen to me. In my opinion, I want to state it as an opinion. Football at Kentucky, they aren't hurting NIL wise. So let's just put it that way. They may not be basketball, and that's one of the reasons why, John Calipari was like, get in where you get. You remember that back in the summer? He's like, man, this is a basketball school. Shut up.
Don't come here talking crazy. What is wrong with you? What do you don't know where you at? You don't know where you
at. Right. He's like, hey, man, this still my campus. This still Big Blue here. And Mark Stoops, he was in his feelings about it a little bit. But again, they got a couple Michigan recruits. They got a couple dudes who were committed to Michigan. And so you tell me.
And went to Kentucky.
That's my point. Not to sound. Yeah, I do mean to sound. Come on, man. Kentucky over Michigan. Come on, man. Really?
No, it don't happen unless you got that chicken.
So their NIL is doing okay. It's just not doing it on Georgia's level, which brings about a question to you guys philosophically. How do you feel about, you guys both were stars. You were stars in high school. Do you feel like high school players nationwide should be able to reap the benefits of NIL in the same fashion and manner in which players do in college?
100%. And so, but the one caveat I want to put out, and this is for college as well, I think it has to stop being teams paying players to come. Because I think that's the rabbit hole. It has to be, if a company wants your likeness and wants to do that, you can go make that money. But as far as just paying players and they ain't doing nothing, they ain't advertising nothing, that ain't how life works. And you're setting a bad precedent, because once they done with this, right? Once football is over, once you're not a star athlete anymore and you don't get a chance to play at that next level, you got a whole thought of like, people should just give me money, right? That's how I've been all the way from high school all the way up. I should get this. I deserve this. Well, you're not providing a service any longer, brother. That's not how it works. You're not providing a service. In real life, you have to provide a service, and then after you provide a service, and sometimes it don't even got to be good, you get compensated for that, right? And so with the NIL, I think it needs to get to, you cannot receive this money unless you do something for it, right? We don't get paid for this show unless we come. If I don't come, Sam ain't writing me no check. If I don't come, I'm not getting no money. Right there, oh man, I'm sick. All right, well, you ain't gonna get paid for this time. That's how it works. Well, we're using Daniel's likeness, we're using my likeness, Sam. That's how it works. And so I think that has to change. It has to, because like you said, people with the deepest pockets just gonna get the best players. That's it. That's how it's gonna work. And I kind of like what Michigan is doing with it, where they ain't giving out this whole bunch of money to guys who haven't proven. And that's the next part. What about the guy who played against bad competition? He looked like he liked that. His family got a little cheddar, maybe relationships, and they ranked him high, and he really ain't that. But now you done invested all this money into this man, right? And everybody know, because he can't keep his mouth closed. He geeked. Yeah, played y'all. I'm not that good. And guess what? I'm never going to contribute, and I'm never going to earn this money that I'm receiving. I think that's a problem. And there are guys that are in the arena making plays, doing things that aren't getting the kind of money that some of the kids coming in are getting. And I just think that is putting the cart before the horse. And we know that is not the right thing to do.
So tell me this, man, why is it different from a rookie first round pick getting, $20 million when you got dudes? You got dudes that were making more than Brock Purdy at San Francisco. Brock Purdy's a baller, but, the rookie comes in, first round draft pick, Maybe not they eventually traded Trey Lance, right? But still, but you get my point. You got guys come in on the strength of their profile in the NFL, getting all that money, and they make it work. They make it work, and there's an understanding that because of your profile, you are going to get a certain amount of money. Now, you can earn your way to more money once you're in the league. If you're one of those other guys who aren't getting paid, why can't it be the same way in college?
I just think it cannot, because you're coming from high school where we don't know. We live in Michigan, Sam. We seen some bad ball out there, and we see some guys get down on some bad players. It's like, hold on now. You got down on him, but you're really not a good player like that. You understand? And so a guy from California that's maybe recruiting you, he don't know that Rochester ain't a good school. You got 45 touchdowns. 8 of them was against Rochester. I mean, they're deaf and blind. They don't play football there. Where are we going? They got a nice stadium, but they stink. Right? It's not a good football team. And so I think it's too much of that.
I think more y'all than that, Rochester. I do.
You said what?
I do. Rochester Adams, they got
I didn't say Rochester Adams. I said Rochester High School. That's how I knew you don't know. That's you know what I mean? Because you forgot Rochester was even a school. Exactly. Rochester Adams got some players. Rochester ain't got nothing. Have you ever even been to a Rochester game, Sam Webb?
No, I have not.
You have what color is Rochester, Sam?
I have no idea.
You don't know, but guess what? I've been to one. They got a nice stadium, but they can't play football. It's
like
that's a perfect example. You got teams that get a chance to play Rochester and score 12 touchdowns in that one game, one player, right? Boost their stats up. And way in California, they don't know that. They don't know. All they see is you getting down against guys that got some decent size or whatever. So I think that that's a huge problem. Now, in NFL, it's totally different, right? If you do your research and you see, okay, I'm cool with the talent he played against, whatever, because you're not getting drafted from, Division II or nothing like that. You got to be playing Division I football to get drafted that high and get that kind of money, which we talking about just first round. I think that that's the risk that those teams have to take. But they shelling out that bread, so that's a risk that they're taking. You know what I mean? And I just think it's totally different in high school with Rochester. He said, hold on, now Rochester Adams play. No, not Rochester Adams. Rochester High School. Okay?
So, Daniel, how you feel about it, man?
Man, I to be honest, it makes absolutely no sense for a kid that's never taken a snap at this level to be getting paid money more than a guy who's proven himself as an athlete at the level. It's one of those things where you're going to create a dynamic amongst the team where you have these young guys coming in that have been rewarded and haven't put in the work. And you have these older guys who've been through the training camps, who've been through spring ball, multiple spring balls, and actually put in the work within that program as well as on the field during the games. And they're like, hey man, where's my new car? Where's my check every week? So it's like, it's one of those things where you have to, why
he got the new Balenciagas? I can't get no Balenciagas.
Right. And I appreciate the approach from the Michigan coaching staff where I've read where they say they want to be a transformational transaction instead of a whatever, the lingo that they use. Transformation over transaction. So I appreciate that approach because it puts emphasis on, hey, we're building each other up. The university is providing a platform and providing the education and all the things that come along with it. And you're providing your talents and your services to help Michigan continue to build their platform, right? So we're both benefiting from this and not just, hey, come here, you're the best player. Like you say, you're the best player in Idaho. We don't know if you're going to be here because Devin played at Michigan. There's a lot of 4-star kids at Michigan that never see the field.
Not only did they never see the field, they should not have seen the field.
Right. At schools like Michigan. So it's like, it's like that everywhere. So if these guys are getting money, where's the return on investment? I know rich people don't stay rich doing that. So I'm interested to see how long.
That is what I'm told. That's not how they stay rich or how they got rich, just giving their money away to a non-proven commodity. That ain't how it works.
So let me be devil's advocate for a minute, man, because I wonder why it would be like that forever, where you got the guys kind of pocket watching a little bit. It's essentially what we're talking about. Like, man, this dude coming in getting all this money, he hadn't even done anything here yet. I imagine it might have been like that when rookie contracts first started going up in the NFL. But as you got deeper into the cycle of it, and the guys who got drafted in that way started being the veterans, they said, oh, I came in like that. Now it's not a thing. It's not a thing for all these guys who haven't done anything at the NFL level to come in getting that kind of money, right? So it might be an issue at the beginning, but I wonder if it'll be an issue for the duration. I would put the burden on the teams. All right, if you pay a 4-star player who's not worth it, that's on you, not on a 4-star player, right?
Yeah.
Spend your money more wisely. Be more judicious with how you spread your funds. Do a better job scouting the talent.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the responsibility of the player. That player who you say he's trash. You say he's garbage. He shouldn't be a 4-star. Well, guess what? That money that he could have got coming in the door on the strength of that profile, he'll never get it. Why shouldn't he realize the benefits of all that work he did? Man, you go and look at these schools' profiles right now, player profiles right now. They list their recruiting rankings in them. If it didn't mean anything, they wouldn't list it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They say, oh, this was a 5-star guy. This was a 4-star guy. He was a top 100 player. They list all that. That means it has value. It has at least some kind of merit for you to list it. Why shouldn't a player be able to capitalize on that?
Well, let me ping pong this thing back then, Sam. What I think the difference is, and why that I think it's just so different from the NFL, is because in the NFL you have 53 man. In college, it's 105. It's a lot more personalities. It's a lot more. How do you say it? Like, you got scholarship guys, you got non-scholarship guys, you got all of that. And my whole thing, you know me, I'm big on the mental health of somebody growing to be a man, right? Mm-hmm. And so you give this 17, 18, probably 19, 20 to everybody getting held back to try to be the best in their class. But let's say 18 or 19-year-old, he get this money and there's a lot of times there's a caveat of like, hey, if you transfer or whatever, right, you don't get the money or whatever, So say you give this money to this kid, which it ain't enough money for him to have a family and life, like more like that. It ain't that type of money, right? But you give him all this money, he don't pan out to be what he is. He probably chose a school just because you gave him the most money, wasn't the best fit for him. So now all the things that he was striving for and trying to get to, he's never going to get that. And as much as we say you're going to college for school, let's be clear. You choosing school for money, you ain't worried about the education and what you're going to do. So are you going to attack the classroom accordingly? Are you going to attack the classroom like you should? Absolutely not. And we can kid ourselves and joke, oh, yeah, no, they are. They go to class and, man, that's garbage. They going to play football, period. All right. And they're going to collect the funds too. So what about when it's all done? All right. So in the NFL, you get 20 million. The mental is fine. It should be, right? You get 20 million. You should, you know what I mean? You shouldn't make that go away. If you don't pan out, you should be fine to start your life. Maybe not as lucrative as you want, but you should be fine to start your life. Not to mention you're a lot more mature after coming from college. As a high school kid, and it don't work out. Come on, man. You're finished as a human, as a man, as a person. And for some young ladies, like it's just so much more detrimental to the mental health of a kid than I think it is. I mean, it's still some detriment to the mental health of a person, but when you got a lot of money, you can help yourself out with some of that mental health stuff and kind of put things in order. But there's nothing you can put in order when you're a kid and you set the precedent in the beginning, and then they figure out, wait, it ain't really like this. This is not how real life works, right? That's devastating, I think. And I think that would be malpractice on our part to support, setting kids up essentially for failure, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, Devin. This is one of those things where, like with the way Sam described it, as far as you're dealing with pros at the next level, you're dealing with grown men who married with wives and families. So you're not gonna. The money aspect is it's kind of understood that you don't talk to another grown man about his money or about how much money he's making, right? As like Devin says, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, that's not really that understanding yet because they've never been there before, right? So there's never been a scale of different contracts within the locker room before, where this guy might be making 50 million, this guy's making 20, this guy's making 3, the guy that's making 500,000, you don't ask about what they're making, and they don't ask you, and they don't put you in positions to make you spend your money unless it's like some sort of team hazing, right? Like there's boundaries that you don't cross when it comes to money when you're grown men in professional sports. There's not really those boundaries yet in college athletics, so it's
actually more flexing. Right, I want you to know how much money I'm making. I want you to know, even though you're good at football, I'm still getting paid. I know you're good, but guess what? I'm getting paid more than you because that's your only get back, right? I'm not very good at football, but guess what? I'm getting that paid. So I must be halfway decent.
So I will stay with this devil's advocate thing, though, fellas. So what about the guys on the team who come from money, who come from big time families, who went to every private school. They drive a Mercedes because they family have it like that already, or just on campus in general. You come there, it's a whole lot of people who come from affluence, right? Why is that? Why is that okay? I mean, they were born into it, but still, you're still talking about a young person with money they didn't get. They didn't earn it on the strength of their talent and ability. They were anointed. It was appointed. It came to them by birth. So now we're talking about
on third base.
Right, they were born on third base, right? It was Ryan days on campus, right?
Sam,
so
I ain't never seen you reach like this in your life.
So what I'm saying is you already have young people dealing with differences in social strata, at least as far as financially is concerned. So they're learning to deal with it when the money is appointed by birth. Why can't it be the same thing when I get some money because I actually did something to get this profile at the high school level?
So a lot of times in the locker room, I've been in the locker room with the guys that got that cheese. Not one time have I ever seen a kid that got that cheese. First of all, it's their parents' money, and usually they understand that, right? But they ain't flexing on people, right? Because you can't act like that. You understand the majority of that locker room with the minority players. We don't have that chicken like that. What is you talking? We don't have no money. This is why we're here, right? We don't got that. So what goofy dude gonna come in there acting crazy like he got this money? You know the people that act like that? The people that don't actually got that money, right? But they're using their rent check to go buy fancy stuff and whatever. And that's the problem. Because you're gonna give the money to the people who ain't never had it, and we don't know how to act like that. And now we flexing, right? We making sure we know everybody know how much money we making. And I think that's kind of the difference.
And that's the dude you want to hang out with after where you can go party.
I said, oh, you got the money, and you want to, and we think, we already look at you in a way of like, you're family affluent, you really ain't earn your way here. So when we go out, we hang around you, and you feel like you owe us because maybe you feel the same way a little bit too. I had some opportunities that y'all ain't get.
I feel a certain kind of way about when it's a football athlete or a basketball athlete. We got to be so worried about how they're gonna spend the money.
Yeah, spend your money how you want.
There are other sports where you have high school players that become pros, and it's never a question about how this money is gonna make them not be able to fit in. All this money is gonna stun them socially.
No. Who said that?
Your point is good. It can have that effect, but at the end of the day, that's on that kid's family, that kid's surround, the people who are helping rear that kid. Maybe it's his coaches. That's on them to ensure that this doesn't distort that young man or that young woman's reality. But why do we only apply that measure when we're talking about football and basketball?
Well, I think football and basketball are the money makers, the real money makers, and more people in those two sports are going to get the money. I'm just telling you, we got the one gymnast is making a lot of money, and they keep trying to prop her up. Yeah, that's cool. What about the rest of the gymnasts? I'm just telling you, they're not getting that cheese like that, right? We got Angel Reese who is getting that pay. Right, and it's a couple other girls in basketball it is, but they're just not getting as much. Right, I haven't heard a whole bunch of baseball players get money from the proteins if they're good enough anyway. But I haven't heard a whole bunch of this baseball players making all this money. Right, the sports that make the money that drive in the money for the universities are the football team and the basketball team. And at Michigan, we know football pays pretty much for everything except basketball. Right, and so that's why those are the revenue. Is revenue garnering for the team, but it's also revenue for the individual players. And that's why I think that we don't have to have that conversation because, you have a couple anomalies in these other sports, but primarily the money's going to be spent on football and basketball.
I got you. All right. I got this crystal ball.
Hey, Daniel, I think we just whooped Sam butt. I like that. He kept trying to get a little devil. We all over it. That's what I'm talking about, Daniel. We're gonna turn this into whooping Sam every single time you try to.
I think that y'all are dealing in the distorted reality. If y'all think that the states where high school athletes are getting paid, where those athletes are not, or those states are not going to harvest more players, they are. And the schools that are paying players, and I'm not sitting here being an advocate for, hey, you may just go buy 85 guys, go spend money on 85 guys. That's not me. If it was me and I had a program, because first of all, I don't have any problem with high school players getting paid. Personally, I think they should be able to reap some of the dividends as they're coming in. If that's their profile and that's what the market demands, let them get that money. But I'm not. If it's me, I'm not making that be the basis on which a player comes. If you come to my campus as Devin Gardner, you're visiting, and you say, and the first thing you say to me is, "How much I'm getting paid?"
That's tough.
Then this is not a fit for you, young man. As much as I like you as a talent,
Sam, all I'm asking is to get me a free burger without getting in trouble. Hey, you know what I mean? If I want to sign autographs, somebody want to give me a little money for it, you know. If I want to, if Champs Sporting Goods, you know, they want to come have me on a commercial, I should be able to benefit from that. You know what I mean? If I want to go to a news station, I say, hey, if y'all want me on this news station, you know, here's the price for me to come be on your station. You know what I mean? When I'm in high school, but I'm talking about the schools directly paying the players. I think that's tough.
And see, so what about Utah giving the entire team, what is it, F-150 truck?
Yeah, they get a whole
team. I love it. They smart. They are smart. Because a car is all I was hoping for when I was a freshman. I just need to get around this thing. And you give me a nice new car, I'll take that.
If you and your parents come to campus and we go over all the things that my program has to offer, from player development, you know, the academic development, you know, the mentorship and tutoring and all the different things that we go over, and you also want to know about NIL. Now we can talk.
Brown Jug gonna sponsor you.
Hey man, yeah, and if that's one of the factors, then yeah, we can talk about that. I think that should be the case. And all things being equal, you know, you're comparing all these things between two schools, and then they're the same, and then one school saying, well, I give you 500,000. The other one saying, you know, you might be able to get 50. See, I mean, I don't think it's
you got to go with the 500,000.
Yeah, I don't think it's wrong to go with the 500,000. Now, all things are not equal with Miami. So let's play this real quick. I think I got it up to the point where.
And Daniel, I'm just putting it on record. I still don't believe you.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think you making it up, and you saying Chris, you lying on Cristobal. You lying.
Look, it's right there. We talk about two hands on the football.
All right, here we go. This is Cristobal right here. Hopefully it works this time. We shall see for the people.
He says they talk about two hands on the football.
Okay, let's see. Here we go.
What?
Thank you for your patience. Obviously disappointing. A lot of different aspects. Obviously, again, just fell short in so many different ways. Battled. There were some signs of life.
He looked sick.
And not having a great first half, but coming out second half, doing some things and falling behind and getting up again.
Man, stop beating around the bush.
At the end of the game, a chance to put it away. And
they knocked all the swag out of his walk.
Take a timeout right there, recalibrate. And so gave him a chance, and they took advantage of it and scored. So that's simple. Questions, please.
But can we pause it? Can we pause it for 1 second?
Okay, yeah.
Pause 1 second. He's just not going to address it off front. He going to wait till he asked about it. He ain't going to address that you didn't take a knee. I don't like where this is going.
That's what he did. He did. He said we should have taken a knee. You ain't hear him say that?
Yeah,
he
whispered that.
He said we should have taken a knee.
He whispered that.
And, we could burn about 127.
He talking about everything else.
Recalibrate. He should have taken a timeout right there at the end. Thought he could get the first down. We talked about two hands on the ball, but that's not good enough.
You talked about it. Yeah, I see what you're talking about, Daniel.
What? Like, that's one of those things where coaches like, we covered
yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that. Yeah, he said he did. So Daniel's right. He said we talked about two hands on the ball. Obviously didn't happen. He fumbled, but we got to take a knee there. You can't do that. You can't make it be about anything other than
I messed up.
Exactly. 100%.
He needs to be a position coach for the rest of his career.
Hey,
he can't be the top dog leader of a group. Not a coordinator, not a head coach. He got to be a position coach. I'm sorry.
Nah, you're right, Daniel. No, that.
Look, if you fumble the QB center exchange, then you could talk about ball security, or like QB on the kneel. Then you could talk about.
And even then, you got to take responsibility. Like, hey man, we did this. Yeah. But you single out a kid who ain't getting that NIL, I'm sure. I don't know how good the back was. I don't know how much NIL he getting. His might be stripped after fumbling, but you gonna attack him when you making all this money as a coach when you made the coaching malpractice to begin with. That is crazy. That was you. I ain't gonna say it. I can't take it because Sam. I'm scarred from coaches not taking responsibility for stuff. So I'm just going.
Yeah, we don't want to go off on a tangent there, Devin, because I know we would go off on a tangent.
Oh, oh man, I didn't. Yeah.
But there are players that are going there because they get paid. But that's who you're going to play for. Like this dude, I mean, he was a great position coach, offensive line coach, right? Outstanding recruiter. But tactically, that's one of those decisions that you make that make you question everything else he does, leadership-wise. You can't get
and
that
then
right.
Blames the kid. So we figured like, dang, you don't know much about ball, obviously. And then also on the leader front, it's like, wait, so some mama is sitting at home like, wait a minute. So maybe I don't know a lot about football, but from what I'm hearing, that should not be a decision that's made. You should have need that ball, right? So I learned that through the grapevine. If I'm the mom, I don't know about football. But then you gonna blame my baby? You gonna blame my baby when you making $9 million a year? Oh no, my kid ain't going there. I don't care how much NIL y'all giving out, because guess what? NIL is plentiful everywhere, most places at least.
Yeah, man, I am with you on that. So
not to mention, they had an NIL scandal with Jaden Rashada or something, where he thought he was getting money there in Florida or something, where they, the money just wasn't quite what right?
Yeah, he was committed to Florida. Then he flipped to he's committed to Miami. Then flipped to Florida, and then he wound up the money wasn't even right at Florida because they were talking like $13 million or something like that, which was ridiculous. Crazy. Why did you ever think you were gonna get that?
He ain't even starting at Arizona State. That's tough.
Right, and now at Arizona State. So that's why I said, look, responsibility for the money, that's on the school. If you spend your money frivolously, that's on you, not on the kid, as far as I'm concerned. But that's, again, another conversation coming up. By the way, I can tease this right now because we've been getting in NIL over on our recruiting show. We're going to have Michigan Region Jordan Acker on an upcoming episode, talk about where things are going policy-wise with NIL in the state of Michigan and at the University of Michigan. So be on the lookout for that in a couple of weeks. You know how excited we are about that. So, fellas, now we're going to switch the order a little bit because we'll get to the I Love Ann Arbor segment coming up, because since we got the videos working a little bit, I want to show you guys some more examples of commentary that caught my attention. And I want to get you guys' opinion on it, because I watched the San Francisco 49ers Dallas Cowboys game, and it wound up not being a game. You guys catch any of that one?
Beat down.
It was, just a total evisceration by the San Francisco 49ers. And so you've had a lot of criticism of Dak Prescott since the game happened. One of them was Shady McCoy. So let's bring Shady McCoy on the screen right now so you can see Shady McCoy, who I covered coming out of high school, by the way, which is crazy.
Oh, this old too. This old.
Yeah. So Shady McCoy talking about Dak Prescott. This is going back to what, January 23rd, I think it was?
Yep.
Dak was what to the 49ers? It's only right I say it again. Ass. The truth is, he's not that good. Pick, pick. You can't win like that. It should have been 3 picks. You can't win with a guy like that.
All right. So that was months ago, right? Months ago. Now we just talked about them dudes they're talking out of turn about players, right? So Dante Whitner, formerly of Ohio State, another guy that I covered back in his time as a high school player, he has some things to say. And he's also a former 49er, but he has some things to say about Dak after the game himself. And he was not at all impressed with what Dak did in the game. Because, I mean, you had 3 interceptions in that game, right? Didn't he throw 3 interceptions in that game? I think he did.
Yep.
So we'll bring Dante.
One touchdown, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, so bring Dante Whitner up now, talking about Dak, and he basically said what we talked about last week with my man from NBC, where he was like, "Hey, old boy from Zach Wilson is terrible. He's garbage." He was trying to get the players to say, well, that's essentially what Dante Whitner said about Dak. Now, how did you feel about Harrison saying it? DG, didn't you say it was wrong when he said it?
Didn't like it one bit.
Didn't like it one bit when he said it. So how do you feel when Dante Whitner comes out and basically says the exact same thing about a guy who, yeah, you know, he's in the league doing this thing, trying to do a job. So I'm gonna bring this up on the screen right now, and then you fellas, you give me your take on it. Let me maximize it. Here we go. Dante Whitner talking about Dak Prescott.
What is your overall first take about this 42-10 butt whooping by the 49ers?
Dak Prescott sucks.
Oh, my God.
Period. Right? They talk so much about Dak Prescott being a top-tier quarterback, franchise guy. I don't see it. I see them trying to cover up for what he lacks. A lot of quick throws, cutting half of the field off, and giving him easy throws. Other than that, he's not a quarterback that can drop back and really take advantage of a defense and carve it up. And today we've seen it. The 49ers defense made him look like a tier 4 quarterback.
So let me ask you this. Could they do better without him with Cooper Rush?
Oh, no.
So
he's the best they have over there. And if it starts to get too bad this year, you'll see Trey Lance. But other than that, Dak is the best they have, but it's not good enough.
So what do you think about the Cowboys?
So again,
this man just said this.
Wait. Before we go,
yeah, so let's do it again.
Prescott sucks. Oh,
what does he have on?
Dak Prescott.
That's what I was thinking. I can't hear you.
Prescott sucks.
Oh, my God.
So, hey, man, you know, what do you think about that with DG? I mean, is it?
Listen, cut him off. Get him off the screen, please, with that garbage sweater. That sweater was terrible, first of all. And he's in San Francisco. I know it ain't cold. That sweater was terrible. I don't know what it would buy. It's probably a designer. It's probably nice. It's terrible. That's because let's go. That sweater sucks, first of all. So this is the problem I have. And I want to preface this by saying I am not a Dak guy. I do not like, I mean, I don't think Dak is that guy, right? However, if you look at what Dak has done in this league to this point, Dak has earned at least some respect to don't come on talking crazy like that. At least, now, did he have a bad game? Absolutely. Most quarterbacks have a bad game against that team, right? And to me, what it looks like for Whitner is he can't remove himself from being a 49er, right? He hearing the Cowboys talking about the 49ers and talking trash or whatever, and he think he's still a player. You ain't a player no more, Chief. What is you talking about? You didn't go out there and make Dak look bad. No, you weren't the guy that did that. And so he won't take his player hat off and do his job as an analyst. And so he go out and says the dude sucks. And so for me, it's like, okay, have you watched every snap of what Dak played? Because if you really watch Dak play, Dak's a good football player. Do I love him? No. Do I think he gonna win the Super Bowl? No. Do I think he the guy to beat? No, I do not believe that. But I think that because Dante Whitner, he's a black guy, and I'm taking this place, and Dak is a black quarterback, he feels comfortable enough to just say that about him. And I don't like that. I don't like that one bit because there's a lot of white quarterbacks that have been terrible. And I don't know. I don't think it's okay if it's a white quarterback either, as you know, because of what happened last week. But Kirk Cousins in big time games and big time moments has been awful all the time. It's actually like a well-known thing. Like we just can chalk it up. If it's a primetime game, he ain't gonna play good, right? And that's just one name. Obviously, it's a bunch. Where was this commentary to say that a guy sucks? Why do you feel comfortable enough because this guy's a black quarterback and people are piling on and he plays for the Cowboys or whatever to just lead with Dak Prescott sucks? That ain't analyzing. That's not being an analyst. And your sweater's garbage, right? So you know what I mean? It's killing me. The sweater was blowing me. I can't believe he owes an apology. Honestly, like, man, I'm sorry. I got to the moment as a player. He got to hit Dak up like, hey, man, I ain't mean that, because any person that understands and knows football, a real analyst, you can't say that he sucks. Now, for Shady McCoy, obviously, he on TV, he being funny, right? You know what I mean? And he might think he's just not that good. but it's an entirely different setting, right? That's a barbershop type setting. That's talking ball, just kicking it, whatever. For this guy, these guys have suits on, right? You're on the field right after the game as a analyst trying to analyze the play of the game. He didn't analyze nothing that Dak did in that game, right? He didn't analyze nothing, right? Because a lot of times, obviously Dak's throwing some interceptions. Well, I don't hear nobody. Matthew Stafford led the league in interception. Nobody said he sucks. Nobody did. Dante Whitner did not. And guess what? He sucked against y'all. He threw y'all a pick. And I don't remember commentary of this former 49er saying how, we lost, but he sucks. We should have got that interception. He led the league in interception. He sucks. I didn't see that. I don't see that. And so why do you feel so comfortable saying that about Dak? I don't like it. And I'm not a Dak guy, to be clear.
So, Daniel, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, he went a little overboard. That's not well, you like you said, it's a time and a place for everything. And in that setting, that wasn't the place to say a guy sucks. Obviously, Dak is a highly paid, highly respected quarterback within the NFL. And for you to, take shots at him, that was kind of crazy. I'm as a Saints fan, I watched Drew Brees struggle immensely the last 2 years of his career. And nobody ever said he sucked. Nobody ever said, went that far to describe him in that way. And like you said, I think there's a little bit of a race element to it, but at the same time, it's like, man, like I think some of these guys that are in the media and that do commentary or do analysts or whatever, they're not far enough removed from their playing days, or maybe they can't remove themselves far enough from their playing days mentally to cover the game properly and give proper analysts or proper commentary or proper whatever on what they see, because they still, like you say, still feel like they're a step away from being out there playing. And in reality, hey, man, like this is not even the same game that you used to play 10 years ago, Dante Whitner. So, I think those guys got
another thing is like, and I like Brock Purdy. I want to say this. I like Brock Purdy's game. I covered him at Iowa State. I talked to you about it, Sam. I didn't see this coming, but I knew that he would be not overwhelmed if he got an opportunity with a good team. Why are we forgetting that Dak was literally what Brock Purdy is? Mm-hmm. Literally. When he first came, he was Dak because they were able to control the game and do all these different things. He was with Dak Purdy. Brock Purdy. Call him Dak Purdy, right? He was what Brock Purdy currently is. We don't know who Brock Purdy going to become, but guess what? He's got an outstanding team, and I'm not taking nothing away from what he's doing, just like I wouldn't take anything away from what Dak was doing, right? Brock Purdy's making plays. Guess what? Dak was mobile before he broke his leg, all that. He was doing a lot of this same stuff. Didn't throw interceptions. Didn't turn the ball over. Looked amazing, right? And so it's like everybody forgot about that because he hasn't had a bad season, right? He's had some bad outings, right? Some bad games. Dak ain't had no bad season, right? And so I just don't understand. Like, it's like people can't see. The Cowboys kind of were the 49ers. The 49ers ain't won no Super Bowl. Now they've gone further than the Cowboys. They ain't won no Super Bowl, right? So they've been stacked like this and they haven't won a Super Bowl. Brock Purdy, you can say he got hurt or whatever. Whose fault is that, right? He got hurt in the game and they got popped, right? He got hurt in the game and they got popped. So he's going to have to prove that he can go win that big game as well, I think, right? Because all these regular season games, they don't mean nothing, right? And let me be clear. I think Brock Purdy's really good. I think he should be in the MVP conversation. But guess who else was in the MVP conversation in that year? In that first year for Dak. Remember all that conversation? Hey, man, he rookie of the year. He should be in the MVP conversation. Right? It's the same thing. And I just don't understand how people are forgetting that.
Yeah, people forget what kind of quarterback Dak was in college. Like he wasn't a drop back.
He's running Q power.
Right.
He ran more Q power than drop back pass. That's a fact. I'm talking about down 47, drop step and run straight.
Yeah,
not a quarterback draw. I said quarterback power. Like he's our big back. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Now, if Dak had Shanahan, he would probably look a lot better than what he's looking as well, too. You know, I mean, we got to factor in. I think Michael Irvin made some great points on TV all week about the Cowboys receiving core as well. When CeeDee Lamb is your best receiver, you know, it's going to be, he's a good player, but, you know, in the NFL, you need more than just CeeDee Lamb on the outside. So,
yeah, at the same time, I mean, you know, definitely you've seen Jared Goff help develop Amon-Ra St. Brown. but he don't have a bunch of speed out there, a bunch of all-pro guys out there, and look at how he's elevating his team. I just think there needs to be a realization of two things. People have overrated Dak some.
100%.
But man, it's not like the coaching staff there, they're reinventing this offensive wheel. I mean, they are not putting him in position to be successful in the way that Ben Johnson is putting Jared Goff in position to be successful with the Lions.
McCarthy won a Super Bowl with a top 3 or 4 quarterback in the history of football. Without him, we talk about Bill Belichick without Tom Brady. Not very good, below average. I really would like to know who is McCarthy without Aaron Rodgers. Because that's why he got the cachet, right? Who is he though without Aaron Rodgers? We don't know. We can do the research maybe, but I'm just telling you, he probably ain't like that. I'm just saying.
Right. All right, folks. It is about that time. Steady Dropping Dimes, proud to be sponsored and brought to you by our friends at Destination Ann Arbor. Without our friends at Destination Ann Arbor, this show would not be possible. And so we like to pay homage to all the places that we like to go in Ann Arbor, all the places we're gonna go in Ann Arbor, places that we might go with you. And one of the things that we've been bringing up in recent weeks is where we might have a Steady Dropping Dimes meetup. We think that would be a great idea. A lot of the fans want to get with DG. DG might even bring an Emmy, or at least he'll bring a picture of an Emmy for you to see, right? For you to hang out with us with the Steady Dropping Dimes crew. So without further ado, it's time for I Love Ann Arbor. Here we go. Yeah, we got to see that again. See, I'm doing it without the producer this week. So, getting the chops down how he gets all that done. But yeah, the I Love Ann Arbor segment brought to you by Destination Ann Arbor. It's the place where we feature the places that we like to go, the places we like to eat at and go, especially like, for instance, you're coming to town for a game day weekend. You're looking for a place to watch a game. Last week, we featured Black Rock Bar and Grill, which is where we're going to have the Beach Party coming up on October 21st. We got the game time. And so game is at 7:30. That means the pregame show that we're going to do live at Black Rock at 3776 South State Street in Ann Arbor, that it is going to begin at 3:30 at Black Rock. And then after the watch party, we're going to go ahead and get off into the after the pregame show, we're going to get off into the watch party, have a great time, have great food over there and whatnot. So that's one part. That's October 21st, Saturday for the Michigan State game. Come on out. We hope to see you there. But we are trying to find a location for our Dropping Dimes crew. So, DG, I know you said you like Hopcat. I've never been to Hopcat.
So, yeah, I like Hopcat for the food. It's really good. Black Pearl, obviously the brown jug, the Buffalo Wild Wings, that's pretty, standard. But, I am there for the food, guys. See, wherever we go get the food, I'm there. I don't care where it is.
DG, are you a beer guy? You a beer guy at all?
I've never had alcohol a day in my life.
Ever?
Not one time. You didn't know this?
I didn't know this.
So that's why every time y'all talk about it, I just kind of be like, I'll go and I'll get my strawberry lemonade. I'll be good to go.
I cannot say I identify with you on that, DG.
Of course you do not.
What about you?
Don't worry. I've seen you. Remember the Big Ten Championship? Sam get a little saucy, okay? I know, Sam, you do not identify with my lifestyle, okay?
We did. We had a good time that night.
Yeah.
Daniel, you occasionally enjoy an alcoholic beverage or two?
Of course. I drink more hard liquor than beer, but I'm willing to get schooled in the beer.
Daniel got offended just now. He said, "What? What are you talking about?" Hold on, I don't get it confused, Chief. Of course I do.
Right. I played in Europe for 7 years, of course.
So I was not a beer person. You live and you learn, right? I kind of like the harder alcohol as well. I would enjoy an occasional vodka cranberry, but I got off into the craft beer scene last year after they started panning me because I like the hard ciders, but not the hard cider that you buy at like the grocery store. I'm talking about like the hard cider you get on tap, like the craft hard ciders. And they started telling me I was drinking out of sippy cups and all that kind of stuff. I mean, just really giving me the business, worse than y'all. They're like, oh, Sam, I mean, did your bike have training wheels on it? I mean, it's all kind of disrespect, right? So I decided last year I'm gonna try the craft beer scene now. So a lot of the places that people have recommended are places that I'm familiar with. So Hopcat is one that I haven't been to. So I wanted to acknowledge that someone mentioned Hopcat in the comments. Continue to give us your suggestions and we'll incorporate them. We had Connor O'Neill's mentioned last week. Monty's Public House was mentioned. We had also Session Room was mentioned. But here's one that we're going to feature this week. Arbor Brewing. So Arbor Brewing, 3 locations. They have one in Plymouth, but the one I know is over at Ypsi, right? And so you love the brew houses, man, that do their own thing. So they got a location at Ypsi, also a location in Ann Arbor. And this seems like a spot, fellas, that we might want to check out. This seems like a spot that might be one where we should say, hey, let's check them out because they have a lot of great beers on tap. And you like how the artistry of brewing is the thing. So the owner of Arbor Brewing reached out to me a few months ago and said, we'll take you through the process of how we make the beer, how we do the whole thing. We'll take you from A to Z. You not only will you sample the beer, you'll see how we make the beer. That's the Arbor Brewing experience. So I'm looking forward to partaking. There's a little bit of stacked deck for Arbor Brewing as maybe a spot that we partake in, fellas, down the line here. Obviously locally sourced, great locations in Ypsi and Ann Arbor, and I get a lot of great comments about Arbor Brewing as well. And that was one of the suggestions that came out last week. So I'm thinking that might be one. As far as their beers are concerned, I mean, Strawberry Blonde, Buzzsaw IPA. They got a Euchre Pilsner. I mean, a Trapa Tango Juicy IPA. Hey, man, I say Arbor Brewing is one that has kind of a little bit of a leg up, fellas. At least my vote so far, because
this process looks amazing.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm on as well. As far as locations for Arbor Brewing, I obviously threw out generally speaking, but to give you the exact location, you got the Corner Brewery right over in Ypsi. And so, get on over there, check them out. A great place to go have a drink. And like I said, man, you want to get to know kind of like the history of how things go, how things have gone as far as the Corner Brewery is concerned. Then they have the spot, the Ann Arbor Brew Pub over in Ann Arbor as well. And then the Plymouth Tap Room as well. Your 3 locations that you can get on out and enjoy, Arbor Brewing. So I think we're going to maybe put them high on the list at the moment. We'll continue to take your suggestions. You can drop them in the comments and we will select one probably in the next week or so. So be on the lookout for that, folks. All right. With that, we are going to get back to it with our friends at Destination Ann Arbor. I just love the excuse to be able to play this, man. This is like art. All right, so fellas, as we kind of round things into form here, did you guys hear James Franklin kind of go off? He was talking about how scheduling, some teams are buying their way out of schedules, and basically he's saying some teams schedules are softer than others. Mind you, they've played no one this year. Like who has Penn State played? Now they would say he was just answering the question. But he took liberties in answering that question and seemingly taking aim at Michigan, DG. This is what it seemed like to me, listening to what James Franklin had to say. So I don't have his comment. I don't have the
Oh, I thought you were about to play it.
No, I don't have the quote.
I mean, you know, James Franklin is funny to me. I like James Franklin because he let them reporters have it. I thought you was about to talk about the reporter that asked, should he just throw the ball deep sometimes just because? And he like, wait, what? You making my skin crawl. Like, what are you talking about? But as far as the whole scheduling thing, the coaches is petty. All of them. They all take shots at each other, subliminal or maybe direct. And the fact that like you said, he's saying that, but they haven't played anybody is kind of, it's kind of ironic and whatever. I don't read too much into it, though. I think that James Franklin is hilarious. I think he's a pretty good coach. I think he does a good job. I think with NIL, he should be able to compete a little more. And once he gets, even more players, because I think they always got good players, but just not the caliber of Michigan and Ohio State. Once he gets the, best players, he should be able to show. And this year, they look like a tough competitor. And I remember I was at the game when they played Michigan one year and they rushed for like 500 yards or 400 yards, something crazy. That can't happen, especially if you're going to be talking crazy like this. Because do you look at yourself as one of those teams that was bought so we can play y'all to just embarrass y'all? I don't think he looks at himself that way. So he's got a couple opportunities this year to prove that he is the coach that a lot of people think he is and maybe prove some people wrong for thinking that he's not a good coach.
So what has he done in his career at Penn State that makes you think he's a pretty good coach?
He's won at Penn State. Listen, man, you have to realize
one big victory, DG.
Well, there were no big victories, but did we say that Coach Harbaugh was a bad coach or not a good coach because he didn't have his bigger victories? No, we didn't.
But Jim Harbaugh had won at San Diego, took them to the, made them better.
Sam,
Stanford totally around, and then took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. What has James Franklin done anywhere close to Jim Harbaugh?
Sam, where was the big game that Coach Harbaugh won is what I asked.
Now, at Michigan, he hadn't won the big game, but he had
Okay, what big game at anywhere?
He took DG. He took a team to the Super Bowl. He went to like 3 straight NFC championship games.
I don't really want to talk about I don't want to talk about NFL.
Did he win the Rose Bowl?
Because no, he didn't. And you making me almost attack Harbaugh. I don't want to talk about NFL because NFL and college 2 different things. We saw Urban Meyer be a top 3 all-time coach and then can't do it in NFL. So we want to talk about NFL. We want to talk time. Let me get my chance. We want to talk about Jim Harbaugh as a college coach. He never won a conference until we just saw him win it with Michigan. And I'm not saying that he was a bad coach, but I'm saying I didn't agree with people saying he wasn't a good coach at the time. And so I can't say that James Franklin not a good coach because he haven't won a big game. So
James Franklin did not.
But he got to go against Ohio State and Michigan.
Think about what James Franklin took over. You might say he took over Penn State. By the time he got it, Bill O'Brien had got it to a certain level.
They had a quarterback that was a walk-on.
He didn't take a team like Stanford who hadn't done anything and went in the USC house and put it on them and completely flipped the league. He flipped the whole Pac-12, made Stanford a power, established that program for over a decade after he left. They were still good. Come on, DG.
Sam, your argument was what big game did he win? And I just simply said
USC.
That's a regular season game.
But it's a USC when Pete Carroll was there.
I'm not trying to hear it. Unless you win a championship is a big game. Winning against if Penn State beat Ohio State this year, are you gonna say a good coach now?
Oh yeah, if Penn State beats Ohio State this year, sure I will. Because it's been such an anomaly, just like it was for Jim. But Jim actually came in with a track record before that. Is my point.
That's
like he had something to say. All right, yeah, it's not going that well at Michigan, but he did have a Super Bowl team. He did turn Stanford around when Stanford was nothing, right? You had some things going with James Franklin. He has 1 victory on his resume.
It feels like, which one is that?
That's when he beat Ohio State in 2016.
So that's a big game. What are we talking about?
That's what I'm saying. He got 1 big game.
You pointed to 1 big game at Stanford.
But it's to me, looking at them at that time, Pete Carroll,
I ain't trying to hear that. You said big game. You said 1 big game. You said 1 big game has he won, and I didn't even know it. You gave it to me. He beat Ohio State. Now listen to this. I didn't say that James Franklin was a great coach. I said he's a pretty good coach. He can't be a pretty good coach. Wow, Sam, that's wild. That's wild.
I think he's an okay coach. I think he's okay.
Pretty good and okay is synonyms, Sam. Pretty good and okay is synonyms. What are you talking about?
Pretty good. No, pretty good and okay ain't our synonyms to me. Pretty good is pretty good. Okay is less than pretty good as far as I'm concerned. He's an okay coach. You know what he is? You know what he's good at?
He's a serviceable coach.
He's a great recruiter.
I ain't seen him not take a knee when he's supposed to. And I ain't seen him lose games that he's supposed to win either.
And this dude,
he's an above average. He's an above average coach. Sam, he's an average coach. He's an above average.
He's above average. Like, what are you talking about, Sam? And his record would suggest such. His record would suggest he's an above average coach. And I'm just telling you, people were saying that Harbaugh's a bad coach because he couldn't win the big one at Michigan. They were saying that, and I never jumped on that. I said, "What are you talking about? He's a good coach." I probably said pretty good. I mean, he's a pretty good coach, right? Yeah. He hasn't won a big one, but he's a pretty good coach. Penn State hasn't won a big one, and I don't think they've had the pieces that can make him a great coach. But let's be clear. You can't be a great coach without great players, period.
Hey, wasn't Sam saying Prime is a great coach already? James Franklin has done more than Prime, right?
So
true. It's a fact.
I said
it's a fact, Sam. No, don't you put that head down. You pick your head up and you defend yourself.
Here's what I found with Deion Sanders that is totally different. What I said about him is he is a great motivator. A guy who can take dudes who are average dudes as far as mentality and make them feel like they're prime. That is a great ability that I've seen from him in turning around now two programs. No one expected for him to be able to turn this program around overnight. I would argue that his success this year, as limited as it is, far surpassed expectations already.
TCU just lost to Iowa State, Sam.
Okay.
I just watched the film.
They were going to lose every game. It was a team that won one game.
I get that. And see, Sam, you making me attack people that I don't want to attack. But you are taking it too far to say he ain't even above average as a coach.
Okay, have you watched this dude as a game coach? All the things he flubs, especially when clock management, especially. This dude, he's a habitual offender as far as that's concerned.
Hey, but with Colorado, that's not the same team that went 1-11 last year.
Exactly. Come on now. They are stacked. If they're playing 7-on-7, they probably win the national championship.
And even with that, even with him flipping the roster, what were all the prognosticators saying? He's going to come in
there. That's because they stupid and they don't like Deion. They don't like what he's doing. You got to say, what was Devin saying? That's what you need to say. Stop with all the prognosticators. Stop that. They garbage, and they was hating because Deion is a outspoken black man telling you what he gonna do. You know that don't go over well with nobody. Even for some black people, they don't like that. I don't like the way he talking. So don't let that fool you. And that's why they were saying that they wasn't gonna win no games. But if you looked at the roster, they have really good football players. And a lot of the question mark was, is Deion's son gonna be what Deion say he is? And he proved that he is. So don't do the
So I had to go back and look and see exactly what Jim did in the last year. They got a BCS Bowl invitation to the Orange Bowl. They went and beat Virginia Tech in the Orange Bowl. That's what it was. It was the first BCS Bowl victory in program history. I'm like, man, what are we talking about? Why are we comparing these two? Like, it's not even close.
We're comparing them because you forced us to. You forced us to because you're saying he's not a good coach.
You said what about Jim Harbaugh? Is he not a good coach because he didn't beat Ohio State?
I didn't say. I said, what were people saying about him? I said they were saying he's not a good coach, and I was saying the same thing I'm saying now, which I said he was not a bad coach.
Some people had some recency bias with Jim. Some recency bias that wasn't totally unwarranted. But you got to go back and look at it. Let's look at the man's. Let's look at his resume now. Like he's turned around 3 programs. Think about that.
I don't want to do the resume thing because all I know is
winning. Stanford was not winning anything, or first San Diego was not winning anything before Jim Harbaugh. He left them. They were a winner. Stanford was not winning anything before Jim Harbaugh. He left them, and they were a winner. San Francisco 49ers had some talent, but they certainly were not winning. They certainly were not a playoff team. He took them to multiple NFC championship games and went to the Super Bowl, even with them falling short.
Because of that, does that make James Franklin a bad coach?
That make him not even comparable to Jim Harbaugh.
We're not saying that he's equal to Harbaugh or even close. I simply said people were saying that he was a bad coach, just like you saying he a bad coach because he hadn't won the big game. Listen to me. I don't think James Franklin is a great coach, and I never said it. It seems like you're making it seem like I said that, which I did not. I said he's a pretty good coach, which most people in the world would say, Yeah, I think he's a pretty good coach because his record suggests that, yeah, he's a pretty good coach. He ain't average. He a little bit above average. So I don't know what you even arguing, Sam. You need to shut it down.
Thank you, Stan. He had to go aside.
Hey, I think
it's irrelevant. Exactly.
Hey,
right.
Franklin's probably telling everybody that, you know, if the count is really 2-1, everybody wants to point to San Francisco, but two Big Ten championships to one.
Not to mention, James Franklin did beat Michigan.
He did. He beat well, he beat Michigan when they weren't that good, but okay.
Who's the coach?
Put that on your resume.
Who was the coach?
I say, hey, he was falling short.
Who was the coach when he beat him?
And by the way,
answer the question, Sam. Who was the coach when he beat him? Who was the coach when he beat him?
Hey, Jim Harbaugh. But hey, he beat the years he beat Michigan. Michigan was down. Let's see him do that when Michigan is up. I give him some respect. He beats Michigan this year. I really will. But
I don't think that'll happen. But he has beaten Jim Harbaugh head to head more than once. Yes.
So yes, he has.
So why are we acting like he's just a scrub as a coach?
He's an okay coach.
And at that time when he beat them, I would say Michigan had better players.
Really recruit. Here's the measure of Greg. He had
Saquon Barkley.
He had Saquon Barkley.
That's a good player.
And Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley and Micah Parsons. What hardware do we? I'm looking around. I'm trying to find the hardware to go with Saquon Barkley and Micah Parsons.
Sam, as a head coach, he's 107-51. Come on, man, stop doing that. He's a good coach, man. He's a pretty good coach.
Yeah.
Come on, man. He 107-51. Quit playing.
He's a great recruiter.
Yeah, you can say that all you want. His record says he's 107-51, and his bowl record is better than Harbaugh's. 6-5. Not great, but it's pretty good. Yeah. Come on, man. You got me defending James Franklin like I'm a James Franklin guy. Come on, man.
Where's playoff?
Put some reason in here. Can we get some reason?
Where his playoff appearances at? I'm trying to find it.
Oh my God. All right. You got me defending James Franklin. That's crazy. But 107-51 speaks for itself.
All right, this is gonna be a fun debate. The week of the Michigan
Penn
State game.
If they first of all, I might wear a Penn State hoodie if they beat Ohio State. Stop playing with me.
I want to beat Ohio State now. Let's be real. There's the lesser of two evils here.
I don't want them to be Ohio State because they need to be undefeated. But you making me want them to beat Ohio State now.
I want to beat Ohio State now. Yeah. So anyway, we went off on a tangent there when this man tried to compare James Franklin to Jim Harbaugh.
Here you go. Didn't do that. Didn't compare him. I just simply said a lot of people said the same thing about Jim Harbaugh. That's all I said.
See, you got people thinking you love James Franklin now.
Well, that's stupid because they must have jumped in when you was talking crazy because I vividly said a number of times I am not a James Franklin guy. I even just said 14 seconds ago about how you got me on here defending James Franklin like I'm a James Franklin guy, which is not the case.
All right.
So you can wherever that was, say whatever you want. I know you can watch this. I'll say again, I am not a James Franklin guy, but you are being ridiculous. 107-51 is not a below average coach.
I didn't say he was below average.
107-51.
I said he was okay, which means he's average. I didn't say below average.
Okay, 107-51 is not average by the numbers. It's not. It's not.
And you know why he's able to win as much as because he's a great. I give him this. He's a great recruiter. Great recruiter. Not average. Not so. Not good. Not great.
What did James Franklin do to you?
He didn't do anything to me.
It seemed like he did. He might have attacked Sam. Sam be getting attacked by some higher ups. Because Sam got a good show. Sam do a good job. So people be coming at Sam in their press conferences. They watch Sam's stuff. James Franklin did something to Sam.
Nah, he's not one of the coaches I've had to run. I've had run-ins with coaches. Make no mistake.
Right, we'll catch him in the parking lot next time they come in.
I appreciate y'all.
And I'm gonna have your back, Sam. But as we whooping him, I'm gonna say, "Hey, man, James, you're a pretty good coach, man." I'm sorry, this is my dog. This is my dog, Sam. He's goofy. Now let's be clear, Sam's goofy because he's saying you're an average coach. I think you're pretty good, but we gotta get down on you. This is my dog.
Right. Hey,
I'm yelling, Sam, why you got me out here acting crazy on this man like this? You put me in this position. Are you really cool? What is wrong with you, Sam?
Listen, folks, when the Droppin' Dimes crew comes to town, we are going to be riding on Golden. What do you mean riding on Golden? We're going to be riding with our friends at Golden Limo International. It's different when you ride on Golden. It's special when you ride on Golden. Whether it's an airport transport like this, where you're getting in that executive transport, or you're going to a game like I was on this day, where Willie came to pick me up and take me to the game, which is really, really cool. It could be going on a round Ann Arbor trip like we're going to be doing coming up here on the for the Droppin' Dimes. I love Ann Arbor, my Ann Arbor segment. We're going to go around. We're going to go to some of the great places we like. We're going to get in the party bus. We're going to ride on the Golden Party Bus to do it. We're going to have a great, great time. You can experience the luxury and the excellence like you did when I was riding Willie this day. You can do the same thing. So whether it is like an executive transport where you need to be taken to the airport, have the airport, the transportation pick you up at the airport where you land, they got all that covered. One call to Golden. Or if you have a bigger trip that you're going to take, say you might be doing an excursion. Maybe you want to go to that Penn State game, right? I know there's a crew that's actually going to take a Golden bus to Penn State. You can do that as well. Parties, proms, bachelor parties, bachelorette parties with the party bus. They have you all covered. And the difference, the Golden Limo difference is it's the driver. It's the safety of the driver, the knowledge of the driver, the professionalism. It is just on a different level when you deal with our friends at Golden Limo at goldenlimo.com. And by the way, one of our guests coming up is the man that started it all over at Golden Limo, Sean Duvall, who is so invested in the community, so invested in NIL. I know he's made a couple connections with Michigan student athletes, not to mention what he's doing as far as taking all the teams every place they need to go. When they do that, they ride on Golden. You can too, just like we do. And looking forward to it when you fellas come to town, because that's what it's going to be like, fellas. I don't think it's going to be Willie. Willie was cool. He even wore the maize tie. You see that? You see the maize tie on Willie? And see his kids, Willie was telling me my kids went to Michigan State, but I knew I was coming to get you, so I had to break out the maize tie. So I was like, I appreciate that, Willie. When in Rome, right?
That's
When
right.
in Rome, do as the Romans do. So we appreciate that for our friends at Golden Limo, and looking forward to the opportunity to get with my guys, my crew here, so we can find James Franklin and tell him how average he is. How about that, DG?
Hey, man, I'm just fair.
All right, fellas. It was another one in the books, another fun, steady dropping dimes. Until next week, folks, again, put your suggestions in the comments. We are actually looking through them. That's why I mentioned Hopcat this week. We had a listener who said, hey, you guys should go to Hopcat. If you have a place you think we should go, drop that in the comment section. And even if we don't go there this time, we might go there another time. So let us know your favorite drinking spot in Ann Arbor, and we will add it to the mix. Thanks for watching another episode of Steady Dropping Dimes, brought to you by our friends at Destination Ann Arbor.